right, if everybody wants to stand for pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good job. Check person reads.
Oh, I get to read.
You get to read.
Okay. Matthew Bergeron, $388.32. Charles Fitzgerald, $187. Christian Kukler, $435.19. Matthew Kukler, $489.43. Carrie Mason, $123.57. Jonathan Morgan, $700.
Pause.
Just because your name came up? Want to reflect on that?
So I have
Yeah.
two Matthew.
They're stapled together, so just the total on the
Just
top.
one, okay. And then what about for the selectmen piece? There we go. All right, go ahead. Oh, just
All right, so Carrie Mason, you were okay, and then Jonathan.
I
Carrie
did
Mason was
Carrie
okay.
Mason, 123.57.
Yep. And then Jonathan Morgan, $738.80. Michael O'Brien, $365.
Great.
For a total of $2,027.31.
Thank you.
Checks. And time cards.
Oh.
Nice catch.
See, I think there might be a little in there.
I caught it though, huh? I'm
Nice
showing
job.
off my reflexes.
Cat-like. Okay. Kip Kaiser, $834.31. Thomas S., $258.58. Andrew Artimovich, $821.15. Jennifer Jones, $738.80. Russ Kelly, $738.80. Robert Montegary, $738.80. Sue Benoit, $623.36. Katie Coppola, $137.86. Shayla Gherkin, $74.32. Mary Lyons Hall, $217.03. Janice Weirs, $838.28. Kiki Donis Wall, $729.65. Acadia Smith, $83.11. Caleb Smith, $120.05. Marley Beltry, $83.11. Joyce Kegel, $610.65. Jillian Benedix, $609.69. Karen Clement, $1,326.18.
Oh,
Heather Haggett, $359.37. Tamara Peak, $772.98. Daphne Wass, $843.96. Joe Bird, $1,110.43. John Bryan, $659.88. Adanara Chalanor, $602.06. Evan Crafts, $88.66. Tim Labonte, $288.14. Barry Levine, $201.78. Katarina Tennant, $873.72. Trevor Whitby, $911.13. Gabrielle Burgess Labonte, $101.58. Charlene Confaloni, $48.48. Eli Corson, $212.40. Edwin Decatur III, $445.
Thanks.
Jason Grant, $617.23. John Isabel, $109.67. George Kellaway, $52.64. Erica Kenyon, $418.47. William Kenyon's $361.23. Peter King, $98.12. Julie Labonte, $1,651.31. Hannah Leonard, $64.64. Connor McCallum, $199.48. Aaron Mitchell, $773.34. Nathan Richard, $647.39. Benjamin Roche, $288.14. Eli Beam, $307.99. William Dow, $242.30. Elizabeth Fetterspiel, $226.03. Jason Gagnon, $460.82. Andrew Gray, $672.57. Hayden Blazik Ahern, $755.50. Jeffrey Collins, $904.98. Wayne Robinson, $1,056.84. Kendra Brackett, $581.29. Justin Doty, $1576.25. Robert Gagnon, $498.90. Matt Kelly, $1,388.36. Kevin Nealand, $834.97. Robert McCon, $159.89. Justin Moran, $924.94. James Saltzman, $1181.90. Christopher Spilleri, $753.56. Josh Turner, $195.65. John Ventura, $1469.50. Jeremy Wister, $1,019.06. Jared Wright Ward, $1749.91.
For a total of $39,346.17. A combined total of $42,073.48. The PD had 42 hours, the fire department had 7 hours, and the highway department had 5 hours of overtime. We have an ACH payment to Swayze of $209,893, and an ACH payment to the co-op of $753,399.
What we got next?
This can just go over to that thing.
Joyce.
Thank you.
Even more.
I got my reading glasses in my, oh, these don't work.
You can do it now, they can read.
You want me to do the checks? Okay.
We're good, we're going.
Good, because I have to be up there at
Am I on?
You're on, you get the checks.
ASAP Landscaping and Design, $2,812.50. Ben's Uniforms, $1,057. Block 5, $165.99. Brentwood Power Equipment, $16.02. Car Parts of Epping, $48.87. Two-Way Communication Services, $445. Comcast, $183.80. E&J Auto Parts, $25.56. Eversource, $1,153.56. Formax.
Hold on 1 second.
Yep.
Okay, so Eversource is how much?
$1,153.
Should be a tape on the
Yeah,
top
I'm
one.
looking for,
Top left
Oh, you
corner.
got
looking for the tape.
Yeah, that's fun. That's what I got. Last week.
There's still one more in front of that one, John. Go down one more. Go, the top one, in your other
Flip
hand.
your,
Oh, I see the tape.
Oh, you saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got it. And then the next one will be Formax.
Should be 8 of them.
All right,
Formax?
formats.
Okay. $1,385.50. Health Trust, $34,068.43.
7 of
Each.
those.
HLF Industries, $295.50. Jim Michaud, $2,000. Municipal Resources, $720. National Record Service, $1,466.29. Heather Arworski, $1,107.45. NH Employment Security, $1,177.83. Patriot Properties, $5,850. Quality leasing, $848.82. Rockingham County Registry, $4.60. Ballot, $211.45. Is that a multi-pager again?
That's good.
Are you good? 45 cents. WM Corporate Services, $1,602.42. WB Mason, $428.51.
Give me
And went,
6 of those.
last one is went to work. And that's $220.
For a total of 58,295.10. What was national?
The National Record Fire or Highway?
I think it was fire, right? Just auto repair. I can't remember for sure. I can look at it.
So we're in compliance now? And that's,
No, but that's just a change in the law that allows them to fine us if we don't submit our audit.
okay, I just wanna make sure I'm not getting hit with $250 a day.
What is it?
Makes me kinda sweat.
You get a letter from the state,
It was for state inspection and then,
inspections and batteries,
Oh,
and an air system.
good?
Oh, we got the new one?
we're good? Yeah?
Cool.
Look at that.
Thank you, Joyce.
What about rec checks?
Oh, they're all right here. Sorry. My bad. This goes back to Karen.
Perfect. All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
You had a question about,
Election inspectors.
Yes,
I was just curious, how did those names, thank you, by the way.
welcome.
Have a good one. Just curious how those names come to be. Do they volunteer and, or how
So
does that work?
these names, so that may be a better question for Daphne. It's my understanding that these 5 individuals were put forward by the Republican Party. The Democrats put forward 5 separate election inspectors.
Oh.
So each party is balanced, is that what
So
we're
each
doing?
party is balanced right
Oh.
now. So the regular typical people that we would have work the elections as ballot clerks or in that role, those folks would not be working. So instead, we'll have these 10 folks working in that place.
As ballot clerks?
Yes, that's what the role is.
Election inspectors are not the same as ballot clerks.
But I think that's the same purpose, right? So they'll help with the election services, checking in people out. That's how they're used at the election.
I
That's
thought
not
they
what
were
an
observers.
election
I thought they were
yeah, in the past,
observers.
they were just observers.
Yeah, they would just sit there and watch. They didn't participate
I
because,
think those are Daphne's wheelhouse, not my wheelhouse.
Okay, yeah.
But I can check
Well-
with her.
And then did we already, where, did the Democrat name?
We already signed
That was
those a
signed
couple
already.
weeks ago.
Yeah,
so now is it the Republicans are submitting for it?
yes. I think Daph said they had until July 15th to put forward their names, but because the Democrats did it already, she allowed the Republicans to do the same.
Okay.
Okay.
But we just need clarification on what they're actually gonna be doing, because you have, is this for both elections, September, we have one in September, we have one in
Their
November,
term,
right?
their term goes through August of 24. Do you want me to get Daph?
So we go through town election,
Yeah. and
the
then
primary and the,
I thought they were just observers,
Yeah.
because that's how it was before. I didn't
that's
know
usually
they
how
were-
it is.
I would seem
There's
strange.
almost conflict for them to be,
Yeah, it would seem like a major conflict,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was conflict, because they're not running.
Yeah, but we had, people that are on the supervisor checklist are elected.
Those, yeah, but they don't run ballot clerks. Ballot clerks would be the people that give out the ballots.
I mean, you wouldn't want people.
Everybody has a party affiliation.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, not everybody, I mean,
I'm undeclared, so.
right. Independent or.
Independent, undeclared, yeah. 15 minutes till I have to be a market basket. I got 30 Jeeps showing up.
Can anybody explain this one? Timeline, Brentwood, New Hampshire Courthouse Environmental Issues, 1995 to 2019.
So the courthouse,
Oh, this was like an explanation of why,
Well,
It's
they
had-
probably wanna put the rocks on it, right, what it's,
there's been
it's a horror story.
allegations of mold and all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff in the county attorney's basement for a long time.
Yeah, it's not a fun read.
But
Those
even
never
when,
work.
even when we were in,
The environmental issues at the courthouse.
They've been claiming it's an unhealthy building for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
even when we were there last week upstairs, the third floor was muggy and musty and
Yeah.
so,
Water stains on the ceiling.
is she coming down or?
Yes, she's grabbing her election book
So-
so she can read you the.
While we're doing that, we'll go to notes. The second part of ARPA funds have arrived. We received $236,493.92.
Oh, no. I got it.
Come on down.
All right, yeah, how's this work?
What's the role of the,
5 and 5.
yes,
So the story is inspectors of election can be ballot clerks. They can also be greeters. They can be anything that the moderator wants them to be. As far as, well, they can't be like supervisors and stuff like that, but they can be ballot clerks. So I have to train them all.
Okay. And do they have auxiliaries? Because this is till 2024, right? So
It's for 2 years.
do you have to have auxiliaries if it's 5 and 5? How's that work?
So this is how it came up for the primary. You want to have basically as close as you can get the same number of Democrats as Republicans. If you can't find any, nobody will volunteer, nobody will come in, then you can bring in some undeclared people, but you have to work really hard to find Republicans and Democrats for the primary. And that's what's happened. So this year, and it's interesting because they haven't really exercised this before, is to, they will normally call me and say, hey, who do you have for your ballot clerks? And I'll tell them, and that's fine. This year, because the Democrats had more voters in the last election, the last primaries, they get to choose how many ballot clerks that they can have, or how many inspectors of election they can have. And we were told 7. So they sent me a list of 7 people. 2 people have already bowed out for different reasons. And then I called the Secretary of State's office because somebody started something yesterday about not having enough Republicans there, which I already had 3, but they want to have 5, so now we have more.
So now you're balancing it.
It's
So
balanced.
it's 5 and 5, so nobody can argue. Got it. And do you
It's
need to
5
make
and
an
5.
appointment, or what do we have to do?
You have to sign the appointment
their
slips.
appointment slips in the consent agenda.
You already did the Democrat ones, so we swore them in last week, now we have the Republican ones here. And again, that's for 2 years, so we'll have to do it
Oh,
again
we already said
the next primary.
And how many of the people on either party are working multiple roles, so being inspectors and ballot clerks or whatever?
I don't know yet.
And it's whatever Dick Chamberlain or Doug County
It's basically whatever we need to have happen. I'm gonna train them all as ballot clerks, so that they can step in.
This-
I'm thinking that they're not staying all day, there may
All
be some that
the
do,
appointment slips are in there,
but there's probably gonna
where all the
be
signed here
shifts.
things are.
Yeah, Harry went through.
So you're gonna
it.
train all 10 of them as ballot clerks?
read.
Yes, because the primary is very specific how you have to do things in the book.
Are you gonna utilize the current ballot clerks that you have as well?
I cannot because they are undeclared ballot clerks. I can use my girls from my office
Right.
to help out, but if you are undeclared, if I don't have anybody else, then you can, but I'm not able to.
So, is there any provision, not provision, but is there any like requirement that, you know, at any given time, a Democrat and a Republican need to be there, or is it like loose about, because you were just saying like they might stay the whole day, they might not, so I didn't know if like,
It's a little
Gotta
bit
be paired.
loose, however, you want, the reason we have so many is I need to make sure I have a Republican and a Democrat at both tables
okay,
at all times.
makes sense.
even if you guys have to sit in. You excited?
She turned that, she flipped it right on.
All I need to know is what dates they are so I can submit for work.
So, if you would like to attend my training, it is September 8th, which is a Thursday. It will be at 6:15 here at the office.
Did you send me some of that photo?
And I might be actually, I think I'm in
Another copy in here.
Italy when the election is.
I did.
I don't
In
even know about your
November.
problems.
I think that's November, I leave the 3rd.
Okay,
And I'll
that's
come back to the
November, so
12th.
I'm talking September.
I know,
We
but-
have one before then.
So we have another, we
You
have two
better
elections.
show up,
I will
yes.
show up for that one, but usually I work
September
it from
13th
morning
is
till
the
night.
primary.
September 8th, 6 o'clock.
September 8th at 6:15 here at the office.
Yep.
Yep,
And the primary is?
The 13th.
The
it's
13th?
the 13th.
Okay.
Okay,
Is that all you need me for?
Yes.
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
You missed some, huh?
These are the 5 appointments listed in the signatures on them, so if we can see
Okay.
some of them.
Kip, come on down.
Yes.
Kip has come up with a plan to work on the new highway garage in phases, since we haven't had anybody want to bid the complete job.
Just got it.
And in the long run, it may save us some money.
There was a couple that weren't signed.
Yeah.
The floor is yours.
Okay, so, I assume everybody got a copy of this. And basically, it's a new price, and I'll just run through it quickly.
You do not.
Oh,
Sorry.
well, I'll tell you what it's all about.
Do you want me to make copies now?
Well, at the last meeting, we talked about ways to get the costs down,
Just this big? Oh, this was the original, yeah?
yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think. To get the cost down and how much the building to do, how much to let sit. Talked about, the whole foundation, but I was concerned about frost heave, leaving the cold and all that. So come up with a plan to build the entire shell, foundation, floors poured. The foundation and the part to be finished for the office area would have a foam board insulation around it on the inside of the walls to protect the floor. The garage side would have a 6-inch thick floor with wire, so that would be all set for the cold. The building would be constructed, sided, roof, and plumbing lines stubbed under the floor for the future office area, bathrooms, shower rooms, so on. Outlet for, or an inlet for a water line to come in the future. Same thing with electric feed area and septic pipeline going out. So we've omitted tanks and pumps and furnaces and finished office, so on and so forth. The whole thing comes out to 5,000 square feet, comes out to 346,000. That breaks down to roughly $69 a square foot for building costs.
That's really good. You think you can get it done for that? That's cheap.
I have, well, you now have this, and I worked all these numbers out myself. They came out very close to that. Not to say I haven't done that before and been off, but
300, so I was thinking you'd use your TAM and Maine's road construction.
So we have about 300 in capital reserve for the building, so we would have to find 46,000 somewhere.
actually a little more.
But
So
wait, there's more.
there's,
It sets itself. It's a Ronca.
we've got 2 electric lines that run under the parking lot that are feeding the lights, that are lighting up the salt and sand shed area, loading area. Those will have to get removed and then, of course, put up on the new building. And temporarily, for the time being, safety-wise, with equipment gets parked in there, we'd have to have, at least one floodlight in the building, for that sort of thing. I don't think that will amount to an awful lot. But there'll be a cost, so you might have another $4,000 or so.
Well, I
as a
think we
guess.
have, what, 295, is that what we had in there?
And then, you're gonna have somebody overseeing this, I assume.
Clerk?
And, because if you read this about exclusions and stuff, so engineered plans for the building, that was me. We also have a manual, I believe it was them that did the civil engineering work. In other words, we know what the lot is, we can find the building from the information that we have, how to site it, so on. And those are some of the exclusions. So that's why I assume that you're going to have someone run the job, project manager, clerk, whatever you're gonna call it. In the past, well, years ago, when you did, for example, the library, you were at, I think, 5%. So if this was something that you wanted me to take on, I'd be looking at 4%, which is approximately 13.5, something like that.
So we would have to find probably
65,000.
minimally, I would say you probably should throw 80, just to make sure you have a contingency.
Buffer.
I need a contingency in there, so. And I'm pretty sure that fund had 295, if I remember. Do we
So-
have those?
You've got 30 in tan. You've got 30 in road construction that you haven't touched yet.
But that's for roads. I thought he had already said he was gonna exhaust that now.
Well, that's his warrant article, and then in his highway budget, he carries $30,000 for a small, construction
So we'd
budget.
have 60.
So you'd have 60,
We'd have to come up potentially another 20.
and then I think you could find that in various
Can,
budgets, either
You
benefits
can't use
or-
any impact fees for it, right? No
Not
impacts?
not for that. Well, because highway department doesn't have an impact fee account. You could use
Why did we not
some ARPA funds.
raise this in March? I don't remember.
Because we were, stopped spending money because we were spending so much money in March, one. And two, we didn't know building costs were gonna be the way they are when we originally designed this, and we built the salt sheds out of the fund and didn't refund it yet. We do have, did we spend all the ARPA money yet for
We
what
haven't,
we have coming in?
we haven't really spent any yet, because we were gonna use it to offset the warrant article for the fire department, which was about 150. But even that will be a smaller amount than anticipated, because that was set on a June 1 start date, and we're looking at an 8/1 start date for one employee, and we don't have the second on board yet, so. there is
So we do have some
money
ARPA
there.
money kicking around.
You're probably gonna, and because you're gonna have probably 3 months minimally that you don't have anybody into the fire that we were anticipating.
Right, and I mean, Chief Bird has a couple of interviews set up for next week, but even if those go well, by the time we get through the background checks and everything,
Until
we're
September.
looking at mid to late September anyway, before they get onboarded. And even then, if they get on mid to late, that's October 1 start date for benefits, so.
I mean, as long as I know we can find that money and we're not gonna be struggling, I think we need to kind of do it. I'm happy that it's the shell. I wish it came in a little bit less, but it is, I mean, you're still gonna have some costs on it.
And then what's gonna be the,
And the ARPA funds, really, that 20 would be sort of your contingency money, right? So
Mhm.
best case scenario, you don't use any of it.
so this is just the shell?
That's just a shell.
And
Well, that's a weather-tight building with
Right.
no heat, plumbing. It's,
Right.
it's a shed.
Right, it's a really big shed and the rough-ins are there.
Yeah.
So, do we have an idea, a rough idea of what it's gonna cost on the back end when we wanna finish the building?
Probably another 200,000.
250.
If you had to guess, it'd be someplace in or around that, but I mean, I don't have a clue what the way things are escalating. You know, so,
If we do this right now, Kip, when would ground break?
if if you signed off on this tonight, it's conceivable that we could break ground next week, because that's the time frame we got left to deal with this. I've been running through this for some time. And then after that, we're at the, kind of the will of the next time I can get the equipment in.
I think
So, that's,
I think it's a good idea. It solves our problem of getting the equipment out of the other building where we have the safety hazard and covered storage out of the weather.
I mean, I drove by, I think it was yesterday or yesterday afternoon, and I was watching them working on a truck outside. It's great, it's nice out, but what do you do during inclement weather? You can't work on that.
Yeah, because then at least the other garage would be open and clear that they could have it for shop space.
Right. I'll
right,
make a
again,
motion based on this proposal and that we utilize the TAN fund and ARPA as our contingency, and then the road maintenance is the other, to make it all work.
With Kip as clerk of the works.
With Kip
Yeah.
as the clerk. 4% is a hell of a deal, because I can tell you right now, it should be 10. So if he's doing 4%, that's a hell of a deal.
well,
And I'm gonna hold him to
confident in the
2%.
plan.
That's-
Do I have a
Him and I
second?
still have to go into a room and beat it out.
If you want to leave, stop talking.
Okay. Okay, sorry.
Do I have a second?
Can't second it, so.
Thanks, Letty, for raising your hand.
So you're saying the impact is there's a gap where we can't do anything for anything?
The whole building?
That kind of building?
For the highway
For the
department.
highway department?
So the highway department doesn't have an impact fee account.
Who decides what gets an impact fee account?
They're the only ones that don't, because you can't use impact fee money for infrastructure. So they didn't want it to be used on roads, culverts, those kinds of things. So highway, every time we've had it studied, it's always been excluded.
Okay. I'm just wondering, because it's a facility and not like a road or a culvert.
There's no account though. There's no money to spend.
Like, it's never been allocated specifically for highway.
Because usually when a development's built, the infrastructure of the development comes with it, so
And the impact fee is to offset the,
development.
So when we get a new road and therefore we need to buy more plow trucks because we have so many more miles of road in town, that's not covered under impact fees?
Well, there's bonds and stuff that they take out to make sure that it actually meets whatever the criteria is, but as far as adding, like, if we go from 67 miles of road to 69 miles of road, because maybe 3 Ponds puts in 2 miles of road,
Right.
there's no impact fee that basically goes into absorbing that cost. They're just gonna keep
And
driving
is
that.
that set by the planning board or is that set by state law?
it's the state law, and there's an independent company that does all the findings and supplies the planning board with that info. We use a firm in the past, Bruce Mayberry.
Did that answer your question, Larry?
Kind of. I'll talk to the planning board.
Do you have all of these info?
Yes.
Can we,
So-
can we walk through, I mean,
Letty lives on
there were a
Middle.
couple of, the patchwork part of it, I don't totally understand, so where the money's coming from.
So we have 295, maybe 300,000 in the account to build the building.
Okay.
But we need probably another 60 minimally.
There's 30,000 in Wayne's road repair budget
Okay.
that isn't used, so we can set that aside and use that.
Yeah.
We have an account called tax anticipation note that we use, is set aside, designed for, should we not collect enough taxes, there's money there to keep the town going. So we can use that 30,000, so there's 60,000. And then because the fire department hasn't spent their ARPA funds, we have that as a contingency.
For potential another 20,000.
And, I apologize, I know you're trying to get out of here. It's just when we start patchworking it, it's not that because I definitely wanna see it built. I just don't totally understand exactly where all the money's coming from, so I appreciate that. On the ARPA fire department, funds, well, it's just understood that they didn't use it, so it's left over, and there's no, you know, Chief Bird just didn't need it.
Because we didn't hire the people in time,
Oh, that's
So-
what we were talking about?
yeah,
Gotcha,
so
okay, that's the part I was
the
wondering.
payroll and the benefits haven't been spent.
I see.
The one firefighter is just being spent as of August 1st.
Mhm.
So there's 5 months, and
Mhm.
then another firefighter may not be hired
Right,
until
yeah,
September, October,
So
so
you
there's
got
another
6
2 months of,
right,
And if I remember correctly, the warrant article was for about 156,000. So if you take that and divide it by 7, it's 22,285 per month. So you'll more than cover that
What, sorry,
shortfall
what
if you.
warrant article?
The warrant article at town meeting.
to hire 2 firefighters
Oh, yeah.
that we said we were gonna offset with ARPA funds. So we planned on spending 156,000 of the ARPA money on the fire department.
yeah,
So far, we haven't spent a dime because the new hire just started yesterday.
yeah.
Let me just make sure that's the right number.
While she's looking that up, so, and then, as far as the tan, is that pretty, normal to pull from that in these scenarios, or is?
Yes.
Okay.
We've done.
We can spend money out of the budget however we see
Yeah.
necessary, so I mean, besides the library, we could tell anybody that we're taking money out of their budget and putting it someplace else.
Well, library and rec is the other one that have the revolving, right?
We couldn't take it from the revolving, but any budget account made up by taxation.
It was 115, so it's 16,428 per month. So
And
even
we've
still.
got several months we got planned.
And
So
so
technically, we have like 70,000.
more than the 20 left to cover it.
So we could actually even take, we wouldn't even have to touch the tan if we had to. We could just take it all out
Take
of
more
the
out there.
ARPA if we had to.
Which would be a better idea.
Yeah, I'd rather take it out of ARPA if we have the money then,
All right, that'd be good.
and leave the tan alone.
So that's your preference?
That's my.
So do you want to change the
Change
motion?
your
That would be
motion.
my motion, to take the majority out of the ARPA and the highway
Road construction.
road construction.
That's, and just, you know, the way my brain works, just so you know, with it is just, I can, like, when you say road repair budget, that makes sense, okay, all's connecting, and then when you start going off into the other ones, I'll have questions here and there, just to try and
Oh,
make
makes
sure
sense.
I'm tracking in case I get asked questions, I can answer them.
You
And
want
on
to see
the,
it in the budget? Like,
on the ARPA money, how long do we have to spend that?
3 years.
until 2024 it has to be committed.
So we have to find a spot
So
for
this
it
is
by
Wayne's
2024.
highway budget, and then this $30,000 right here, he hasn't spent any.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other line item that they reference is. This 30,000 here.
All right, thank you.
Did you have another question, John, or?
Sorry. Do you want to
She's
find
trying to take-
Trying to get you out of
Trying to
here,
take me out.
So how about them chairs?
too. Can you take that out of the ARPA funds too?
And the, is there a garage door for this?
I believe it's listed white vinyl, no windows. I think we have,
Oh, here, steel.
3 vinyl insulated low E windows, exterior 3x9 main door, door to garage,
Yeah, white, no
walk-in
glass.
doors, vinyl siding, and 4 16x12 steel overhead doors
yeah, steel, that's right.
And openers.
But
and openers.
no glass and side openers, yes.
So it would be a complete weather-tight building.
Right.
It's just, like you said, it's just a big shed.
big shed.
And then future potential is already there, so that we don't have to worry about running it again. Or damaging the concrete to basically chisel it out to put the stuff in for future.
Okay.
So I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion passes.
I'll see if we can,
Get it
make
going.
this happen.
And Wayne's on board with this? Wayne's good with the plan and,
It's, as far as I know, we've gone out, laid it out with them. I've shown them the plans, brought the paperwork down. So the original plan that I had shown you is the same basic plan, and he was good with that. And the location as well.
I mean, there should be like a definite that he should be supportive.
can you,
I'll touch base with Wayne. Get the mic.
So like I say, we did go through it right down to the location to make sure it worked for them, and movement and flow around the yard, so I think everybody's happy.
cool. Thanks, Kip.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Grange wants some money to do something?
So you already approved some electrical work and upgrades at the Grange Hall. The original amount that you approved was $5,910. And then when they went in and did the work, there was, some of the wiring costs came in a little under budget, but they did need to install a new or an additional emergency light on the second level dining room, which was an additional $297.42.
I was sitting here going 300. Pretty damn good.
So they would like to request that additional amount out of the capital reserve for building
I
maintenance.
make a motion for that addition.
Do I have a second?
Yeah,
Any discussion?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Do we need to vote on the consent agenda?
Yes.
Make a motion for consent.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the consent agenda? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Letty, do you have anything? Because we're gonna go into non-public.
Make a motion to go to non-public.
For
Personnel and legal.
For legal.
personnel and legal.
Second.
All in favor?
Do you second?
Aye.
Aye.
Morgan did it.
Anybody opposed? Good night, everybody.
Appreciate it.
I'll turn the thing off.
Thank you.
That's yours.